Funny man Jerry Lewis is better known these days for all the work he does for muscular dystrophy. Jerry's kids, he calls them. But the situation for Jerry's real-life kids is more complicated. As Les Trent reports, Jerry's youngest son has died, a pauper.
This little boy was once the apple of his famous father's eye.
Let's see you do Jerry Lewis.
He even clowned around just like his dad, legendary comedian Jerry Lewis. Joseph Lewis was the youngest of Jerry's 6 sons. You can see how much he looked like his father. But now we're learning the shocking truth that Jerry's kid is dead of a drug overdose. Not a penny in his pocket at age 45. He once lived in this LA homeless shelter and ate his meals in this soup kitchen. Jerry Lewis disowned his son 20 years ago, and when contacted about his death, reportedly didn't even offer to pay for a funeral.
I just can't even understand how he still cannot forgive his dead son.
Joe Lewis's ex-wife Kim was informed of his death by Joe's oldest brother Gary, leader of the 60s band Gary Lewis and the Playboys.
This diamond ring doesn't shine for me anymore.
He told me that, that nobody would do anything because Jerry had told the other brothers, keep it quiet. I don't want anybody to know about this.
What led Jerry to cut his youngest son out of his life forever? It was this 1989 National Enquirer article in which Joe accused his dad of viciously beating his kids. Allegations Jerry vehemently denied. Joe said of his father, living with him was pure hell. I've tried drugs, I've tried therapy, and the truth still hurts. My father doesn't love me. It turns out Jerry Lewis really wanted a daughter when Joe was born in 1964, not another son. He even sang about it on his network TV show with his pregnant wife and 5 other sons watching from the balcony.
With all the things I thought of, I'm sure we'll have a daughter. Think, think,
that's the only way to do it.
think, think.
Joe did always tell me that he always felt like he was a big disappointment to his father because he wasn't a girl.
Joe began drinking and using drugs as a teenager. He couldn't hold a steady job, but this home video shows he loved to ham it up in the kitchen.
Cabbage right here, folks.
But he was tormented by demons. He was diagnosed with manic depression and would sit for hours sorting through thousands of baseball cards. Kim and Joe had 2 baby boys, Bobby and Dan, but the marriage lasted only 3 years.
There were times where he would shut all the blinds in the house and sleep for days.
Joe would watch his father on the annual telethon for Jerry's kids, but his own letters to his dad would come back unopened. He drifted from place to place and at one point lived in this LA motel. When money ran out, he got a bunk in this church homeless shelter. The autopsy report says he finally died from acute morphine intoxication in Utah last October 24th. His body was cremated.
He never wanted to be alone, and I was afraid that he died alone.
These are Joe Lewis's 2 sons today, 20-year-old Bobby and 18-year-old Dan. The grandsons Jerry Lewis has never met. Dan looks like his grandfather, but doubts he'll ever get any closer to him than watching him on TV.
I really would have liked to meet him, but it's probably never going to happen. It shows me that even very funny people can have a darker side.
We reached out to Jerry Lewis for an interview. He declined, but in an email told us his son Joseph was, quote, a dope addict for his first 23 years.